So let me ask you, who is your superhero? Is it Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel, maybe Elektra, or even Mother Teresa? Why do we love superheroes? It's because they have extraordinary powers and they overcome tremendous obstacles in a very ordinary situation, and they are bigger than they are. Did you know you too can have that superhero, and it's called the alter ego effect? Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Swift, and I bring to you through my channel studies and research that will help you to have the happiness advantage. So complementing my PhD, I research things on positive psychology, neuroscience, metaphysics, forest medicine, everything that can help you as a 50-year-old woman to have the very best of life, and I can share with you the happiness advantage. Yes, psychologists believe that it's a good thing that you have an alter ego. You may even have more than one. So, are you interested to learn how you too can be your very own superhero? Well, hit the like button and let's get going. Have you ever heard the expression, fake it until you make it? Well, that's not what this video is about. I am talking about an alter ego that allows us to be our very best versions of ourselves because we've pre-rehearsed who we want to be, how we want to act. It is a mechanism for enabling us to become the people that we want to be. Can you use an alter ego and still be authentic to yourself? Well, let me ask you this question. As a 50-year-old female, how many roles and responsibilities do you have in which you perhaps act in a different way? You know, you're a mother, you're a wild woman, you're a domestic goddess, you're an auntie, you're a niece, you're a co-worker, you're a colleague. In all those circumstances, you demonstrate an aspect of yourself. An alter ego is no different. It enables you to be a better version of yourself or a more authentic version of yourself in those various circumstances. So don't be put off by thinking about an alter ego or even many alter egos. It's really healthy for our psychological well-being to be able to imagine ourselves in situations where perhaps we feel we haven't performed particularly well in the past, or that we want to behave in a particular way. Maybe it's that we want to be more loving at home with our partner. Wouldn't it be good to actually imagine that and to think about how we can actually bring the qualities or that we would want to bear in that situation? That's a good thing. Or perhaps it's how we deal with others at work. It can be any number of situations, but having an alter ego does not mean that we're inauthentic. As a woman in your 50s, if you are still in the workforce, it's highly likely that you have a high profile, high pressure job that in which you have to act a certain way in order to be successful. What does that mean for when you come home and you want to be somebody different? You want to be soft, etc. at home. An alter ego allows you to bring those various versions of yourself to bear on your life in certain circumstances, so that you can switch off as you come through the door. Some people use particular props. Maybe it's that they take off an item of clothing, whether it be their jacket or something, as they come into the home and they become a different person. Is this really authentic? Well, if you were to look back on yourself, perhaps the version of yourself from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, you're probably very different now. But was that an inauthentic version of you? Probably not. It's just a mature way of being. So today's video is about being able to use your alter ego in the circumstances where you want to be a bigger, brighter, better, more authentic, more fulfilled version of yourself. So there are two very powerful reasons from a psychological perspective as to why you might want a superhero or an alter ego in your life. What are they? Number one, the concept of self-efficacy means that you are more able to deal with challenges and be so much more resilient if you've prepared ahead of time. We know that that's a concept, and there are many studies that have proved that that is true. So if you know that there are situations that absolutely faze you, if you prepare ahead of time in the way that you want to be able to deal with them, or how your alter ego would deal with them, then it puts you in a much better position, and you will find that as those circumstances actually crop up and you imagine yourself dealing with them, that in reality you are better equipped, and that when you look back on how you handled it, you will feel better in yourself. So it may be about asking for a pay rise, for example, or some other situation that you feel disempowered by, that by imagining your alter ego taking over and behaving in the way that you would ideally love to be, that you will find that you're able to actually do that in real life, and you become your own superhero. When was the last time that you allowed yourself just to play and to be silly and creative? You see, the second reason that having an alter ego or our fantasy superhero, our secret identity that we imagine, is really good for us, and psychologists tell us it's because we can access parts of our brain that turn on our creativity, our resourcefulness, and our ability to actually respond in situations. So next time you find yourself telling yourself off for trying to be silly or having an imagination, remember that it's a very good thing for you, and it's actually worth doing. What is your kryptonite? Yes, psychologists tell us that there are 3 things that we each have that stop our superhero showing up in those circumstances that we really want to depend on them. What are they? The first is self-doubt. Who of us has not experienced self-doubt? We know what that is. It's the very small little voice within that tells us all those stories as to why we can't achieve, why we can't do, why we shouldn't speak up, why we shouldn't upset someone, why we should do, should not do, would do, could do. We all know what that's about. The second thing is our family stories. Yes, we're shaped very much by what we hear, by what we see, and what we understand, particularly as we're growing up. Now, what this is about, the family stories particularly, are around us attributing our self-worth or our ability to succeed or cope with particular situations. We say, well, in my family that never really happened. So we associate with a bigger group than ourselves. And this is not just true of families, it can be our tribal group or our country or our region of the world. We associate with a particular group and we say, well, that's not me. That's not what we do. That's not the way we behave. And so we limit ourselves and hold ourselves back. That's kryptonite factor number 2. Number 3 are actually bad memories that can be caused by traumas. Now, clearly, there are, as we all know, there are ways to get help with particular types of traumas. But this is a major factor in actually holding us back, is we associate the memories. So when we're asked to step up to the plate, often we revert back to type simply because our neural pathways take over and prevent us from being the superhero we really desire to be. So how do you get your superhero to show up? Well, in that moment that you are being challenged and you know that if you give in, your kryptonite factors of self-doubt, family stories or past traumatic experiences are likely to come in, you're able to stop, pause, take a breath. Athletes say it takes them 5 seconds and they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and their superhero comes in and saves the day. So as we spoke about before, your superhero, you've already mentally rehearsed how your superhero would show up in this circumstance and this situation. So let them do their stuff, and you will find that the whole idea of having an alter ego, your very own secret identity that can come out when you most need them, will give you a life that is imbued with optimism, courage, faith and determination. It will help you to lead an extraordinary life.